presenting The Wave by LA Top Team.
After a few-week hiatus, we regrouped. We went back to the drawing board, and we're back. We kind of took a step back and listened to the episodes we had put out, and we weren't very happy with them. So we felt like we were capable of more, and we felt like you guys deserved more. So we wanted to kind of take a new approach to the show and really just up the quality of content and bring you guys something better to listen to. Truth be told, I just didn't come correct the first time. I feel I didn't do my guest justice, and I really didn't give you guys what you deserved. So basically took my ball home, did some push-ups, got my game right, and brought you guys a better product, the most entertaining real estate show online. First, we'll start with a new section that we're going to be doing every week, Titan Tools. Titan Tools is a tool that I can't do without in business, something that really helps me out in my day-to-day and helps me do what needs to get done. First one is going to be MailChimp. This is episode 1, so I'm going to keep it as basic as possible. What do you want from me? I use MailChimp a ton. It basically separates contacts into mailing lists and collects data through pop-ups and forms, helps to automate workflows. I use MailChimp pretty much every day just to send, hyper-targeted emails to certain groups, whether it's sellers or agents or whatever it may be. That's a tool that I use that I know a lot of other people use, so I'll just start episode 1 with the most basic one. It does cost money for anything capable in the program, but it's worth it. It's worth every penny. If you're going to use it and you take marketing seriously and you understand the importance of reaching out and touching your clients and your leads and your potential deals, then it's definitely worth every dollar that you pay for it. If you want to see how I use it, I'll be putting up a short sample of a screen share on social media, so make sure that you follow there. I'll be doing that this week and every week from here on out. Also, with this small little relaunch or rebrand, I want to introduce a little contest we're going to be doing through the first 5 episodes. I want to give other people the opportunity to create and express, so I've created a contest to give away an Audio-Technica studio microphone and PV USB mixer that anyone with a computer can use to record music, their own podcast, voiceovers, or any sort of marketing or entertainment content you see fit. After week 5, I'll be sending one winner the podcast starter kit. The winner will be selected from users who leave a positive review on iTunes and who are also following us on Instagram and Snapchat. You can search our name or our handle at Real Estate Podcast. On that note, be sure to give some positive feedback on whatever platform you're listening. It really helps get the good news out to more folks about the show and helps with our placement on the respective search engines. I'm putting in my heart to this, so if it's something you enjoy, please take a second to give some positive feedback and let us know. We really appreciate it, and it helps spread the word. We also love interacting with all you guys in your daily lives on social media. Check us out on Instagram and Snapchat for some solid entertainment and resourceful knowledge. Just search your favorite outlet for us, and we will show right up. Our website is updated with a ton of new content weekly. Best place to find new episodes and also episode segments of their own, video, and exclusive subscription-only interviews and content. As always, for anything and everything else, you can always send an email to info@millionwayspodcast.com. Stick around after the interview for our weekly featured realtor and also the title tip of the week by our very own Jerry Wu. This week's guest is a new friend of mine, actually. He and I have gotten to know each other over the last few months, and I was really interested in what he did, his line of work, so I wanted to bring him on the show. We met outside of work, actually, in personal life. We both trained jiu-jitsu under the same instructor. His name's Eddie Bravo. You'll hear more about him in the interview. I train in Los Angeles, and Jason trains in Orange County. The guest is Jason Schnitzer. He is a former college athlete, a current realtor, and jiu-jitsu ass kicker. He's a bow hunter. He's a positive, solid ass, tough, hardworking hombre. I know this because I met Jason through, he and I actually train under the same instructor. I train in LA and he trains in Orange County. But our curriculum is the same curriculum, so we all do the same moves and everything. So when he came over for the interview, we actually did a little bit of training beforehand, so got a chance to have some hand-to-hand combat, so to speak, and yeah, get a little workout in before we got the interview going, so that was great. And the reason I wanted to have him on the show is because I see him out there doing his thing on social media. When I say doing his thing, most importantly, he's staying consistent. You can really see into his life, or at least what he wants to show you, and he stays really consistent with his posting, and I think it's great. After having an interview with him, I guess my main bit of advice would be don't laugh at his Instagram handle because I don't want to spoil the story. There's more in the interview that you're going to be able to hear about that. But speaking of Instagram handles, check him out. His Instagram handle's at Realtor Ninja. That's why the title of this episode is as such. He is the Realtor Ninja. You guys enjoy this episode and stick around after the interview for our 2 features, Realtor of the Week and Jerry's Title Talk. I'm just the narrator. I want to hear about you as a person.
Yeah.
More than your work, dude, because it's about more than work. Like,
I think so.
it's about the person delivering the message, not just the fucking message.
Yeah. Dude, you gotta work to live, not live to work.
That's right.
Know a few people who do that, though.
That's why I chose real estate. And because based on just the path that I took, it was the easiest way in.
You're saying real estate is easy, Ryan?
No, but that was my way into getting a job as quick as possible out of football because I studied communications and my family was in real estate.
There you go.
How'd you get into real estate? Dude, you're a lot younger than I thought, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude, because
I'm so mature.
that's what it is. Swear to God, it's professionalism. Swear to God, I'm like.
I'm glad I can fool you.
I was like, this dude's like 35. That's what my girl was asking me. She's like, how old is he? I was like, he's probably like, 6, 7 years older than us. And I'm 27. So 30, right? You said you just turned 30?
Just turned 30, yep.
Tell me how you got to 30 from 18. First of all, where'd you grow up?
Long Beach, California, Southern California.
What high school did you go to?
Then that was actually when interdistrict transfers were still a thing. But so I went to Los Alamitos High School.
Play any sports there?
Played baseball.
Any good?
I was okay.
Yeah.
I draft and follow, as they call it, out of high school by the Red Sox, but
Okay. Late rounds?
yeah, like 37 or 38 or something.
Dude,
like
that's
that.
not bad. There's like up to the 50s, right?
Yeah. Oh, no, it was 47.
Oh, hey, that's cool. So obviously you had an impact in baseball. Did you want to play, or was it just something
Yeah,
that
at
happened?
that time, that's all I thought I was going to do for the rest of my life, to be honest with you, was play baseball. So
you said draft, no college.
well, no, I was like, my younger, smarter version of myself, I guess, said, hey, I feel like college is the route to go. At the time, I didn't have any offers, got drafted, and then got a call from UCR, and had a walk-on offer at Long Beach State, but those weren't the schools I wanted to go to, so I opted for junior college, went to Cypress Junior College for a couple of years, and then got a books and tuition ride to UCSB.
Where's Cypress Junior College? In Cypress?
Yeah, in Cypress.
Cool.
So it's just stone's throw into Orange County from
Yeah.
Long Beach right there.
Never even heard of it. So you turned down a scholarship at UCR.
Yeah.
You said, I'm not going to
small.
Riverside.
It was like 15% UCR scholarship. And then I was like, no.
That's how baseball scholarships work. It's rare to get something
Yeah,
full.
well, I didn't really have any guidance at the time. And, I kind of had my eyes set on, I wanted to be like a UCLA guy. No offense to you.
Hey, I'm not offended at all, man. I didn't even want to go to USC until they came knocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all they offered me was a walk-on, so
Yeah.
I had to do it the hard way. I understand that. But yeah, I was kind of like you. I got a few scholarship offers and said, I want to do something like this, and decided playing big-time football was it, and went to a school where the academics matched the football, and
Yeah.
kind of narrowed it down to SC. So played baseball pretty good, got drafted, decided.
Yeah, so I got the scholarship for Santa Barbara and signed with them right after my trip because, that's a pretty fun place to go to college. And then had a cup of coffee with the team.
Why junior college instead of, because you didn't want to go to UCR? You didn't want to walk on, so you said I could do better?
I didn't want to go to UCR, and I thought that my value was more than just a walk-on scholarship. So I said, I'm gonna, at that time, you still had your option to sign through the end of the year. So the Red Sox owned me for a year, basically. Mm-hmm. So the scout that I was talking to said, hey, you have a really good first year. They could sign you. So
Out of JUCO.
Out of a JUCO. So that was still an option. And, Cypress, shout out to Cypress Baseball. They have a great reputation for moving guys on.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Cool.
To bigger times. Pickler and Pinkham still coaching over there.
Those are the coaches that are kind of well known for getting the good prospects out.
Yeah, so he said, you go here and you'll have your pick of a number of colleges, I guarantee you. I was like, okay.
So you went there, played it,
got a scholarship.
To Santa Barbara, which is where you wanted to go, somewhere that.
Well, at that time, one of my best friends, Chase Arnaud, was going to Pepperdine, and so I really wanted to go to Pepperdine, and it just didn't work out.
And play baseball there?
Play baseball, yeah.
Okay.
For no other reason than one of my good buddies went there. So
You get to Santa Barbara.
get to Santa Barbara.
Was it a heartbreak when you didn't get into Pepperdine?
Not really. I was like, an hour away from Pepperdine if I wanted to go hang out or whatever.
Right.
Turns out Santa Barbara's a pretty fun school to go to, so didn't visit Pepperdine.
I heard
at all.
that.
My friend was the one coming up to visit me.
It worked the other way around,
Yeah.
huh?
Uh-huh.
He just took that drive up the coast and said, we'll go to the good parties.
Yeah.
So you're saying you partied in college?
I'll say I learned how to balance my social life and my school life. That's how.
And you were playing ball there?
I got hurt that fall, so I didn't play hardly a bit. I played with them in the fall, and then after that, yeah.
Said baseball's
decided,
not for me.
You know what? It was surgery or go,
What'd you
grind
hurt?
it.
What did you hurt?
My shoulder.
Oh,
I think every baseball player can understand what I'm talking about.
Dude, believe it or not,
there you go.
what I'm showing
John?
Jason right now is Tommy John's.
Yeah.
I'm not a pitcher. I'm right-handed. I got a Tommy John's on my left arm. I think I was wrongly advised by my university to get it.
Jeez.
Like, it was right after I was done playing football, and I tore it mid-season of my senior year at Sac State.
Wow.
And I was like, fuck. I played with it through the season. I just taped it up. I wore a big old brace on it. And after the season, they're like, oh, we didn't tell you, but you tore your whatever ligament that is on the inside. And I'm like, you didn't tell me? He's like, yeah, well, you weren't going to get surgery anyway in the middle of the season. So I was kind of upset at that. And
Wow.
I'm like, so do I need surgery? And I wasn't aware what this ligament was for, but it's only for throwing. Strictly for valgus motion. Exactly. Where your elbow gets in front of your wrist and you create that whipping motion.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm not left-handed.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'll throw a football with a left hand and everything, but I'm not left-handed. So, yeah, man. I got even
Tommy
football
John
players
surgery.
get Tommy Johns, bro.
Jeez.
So you hurt your shoulder. Did you?
Hurt my shoulder, and then at that point, you kind of know if you're gonna move on or not. I mean, there's some guys that are a little bit naive to it, but if you're going on to the next level. And I just thought, I have a great opportunity here going to, California UC school. I'm gonna take advantage of that and see what the real world's like. So that kind of is how I got into real estate. Actually, got hurt.
So you told the coach no thanks.
Yeah, decided to. I'm sure it was kind of a mutual thing at that point.
Okay.
There was still before the cuts and everything, and we both decided,
this isn't a good fit.
Yeah.
So regular student. So you're 20 at this time.
Just over 21 because I transferred as a junior.
Okay. So you're just over 21. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, it was perfect timing. So yeah, that's when maybe the chapter of my life where I learned how to balance the social and the school thing really kicked in. And then reality kicked in, and because baseball was my life, I didn't have a resume. So I'm like, oh my gosh.
And they were paying for a portion of your school.
Sure.
Yeah, there's a little bit of money coming from it. So
everybody told me, it's like, okay, now you got to build your resume. How do you do that? Oh, you get an internship. And, the economy was down. Hardly anybody wanted to, hire interns.
What year is this?
This was probably 2008. So it was like right in the not good times.
So everybody listening, getting out of college, saying times are tough, you can't find a job. Imagine 08, junior, senior year, thinking, oh, shit.
Yeah, market crash.
Yeah, this is not looking good for college graduates right now.
Yeah, my dreams of being a multi-million-dollar baseball player were no more.
Okay, so this is right around that time you're saying, okay, no more money from school. I got to start making some money, get some job experience.
Yeah, or maybe not even make some money and get some job experience. So actually, my mom is in real estate, and I asked her, hey, what do you think Gary would think of me doing an internship with him? Gary being right now my business partner, but he's the broker owner over at the office.
And is that where your mom worked?
And she worked there. So she's like, yeah, let me, I'll give him your cell phone number and you guys can get in touch. And so I called him up and I said, hey, what do you think? I pitched him my idea. I said I could, kind of like help out where I can, but I'd really like to see what it's like to, shadow a broker owner / because he's broker owner / realtor. And he said, yeah, sure. I can have you do some stuff with the files and, do follow-up calls and whatnot, but I'm not going to pay you. I was like, oh, that's fine. In my head, I just need a resume. And So did that summer.
I was gonna say that must have been during the summer.
Yeah, so that summer I hooked up with him for, however long. It was like 2 months.
2.5 months.
Yeah, something like that. Would basically did a half day with him every day, just like, I'd go with him to appointments. And at that time, he was making some real tough decisions with his two offices, because of the times.
Right.
And so not really being a little naive to the whole situation. I'm just kind of just trying to drink everything in, not really taking into perspective what's going on with, how much stress is really involved in it. Shadowed him a couple open houses, and actually really liked the business, just the flexibility. It's a job where you get out of it what you put into it. And he seemed to have a pretty good handle on it, and so I got a pretty good window into what that world was. And I said, "Hey," and he's getting older too. And no offense, Gary, if you listen to this, but one of the things about real estate is it's really tough to get away. And so I just was like, "Hey, what do you think about taking on a partner?" My thoughts being.
And this is during the first summer?
Yeah, this is the first summer. It was at the end. So we had hours in the car looking at houses, and, I've known him for, maybe like 15 years or so. So we gotten relatively comfortable, and maybe I was just like bullish enough at the time and young enough at the time where I just asked him what he thought. And he's like, that's not really any hesitation, but he's like, yeah, I kind of like this.
This is working well for me.
Yeah. He's like, and of course I had another year left of school. She's like, hey, finish up your year at Santa Barbara and get your license and come talk to me.
I was just going to ask. So that first summer, he wasn't making sure you're going through classes. It was tag along, basically.
Yeah.
Help out where you can, see if you like it.
Sure.
And it went really well.
Yeah, it went
and you
really
said,
well.
I like this. And then he was probably thinking, dang, Jason kind of fit in really nicely. This is working well.
Maybe.
So you went back, finished your last year, got your classes done.
Yep.
All 3? Was it 3 back then, obviously?
Yeah, with a college degree, it was 3 classes. And, actually, I was very much enjoying my last year at Santa Barbara, we'll call it.
Yeah, maybe thinking victory lap.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And then I didn't get my license until after I graduated. Then I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's right. This is happening, the real world, right?
Were your classes hard?
Geography major.
No, I mean, well, first of all, let's talk about what major you were, and then I want to talk about your real estate classes, and did you do them, did they coincide? Because there was a gap between mine, and I kind of forgot how to study, and I want to see if that kind of happened with you. So what did you study at Santa Barbara?
Geography. Don't ask me how I picked it. It was kind of like baseball players do these like 3 or 4 majors, and just because of the times of practice and whatnot. So, I kind of narrowed it down to psych or geography. And then after my first quarter, I was like, all right, geography. Just because I kind of liked it more. And then for no real reason, to be honest with you, I kind of like the land, and I kind of like, all the other things that I do. No real picture, so to say. But yeah, geography.
So you studied that, got your degree.
Yep.
Cool. Did you take classes at the same time you were taking courses at Santa Barbara, or did you graduate and then immediately start?
No, I graduated, and then I think I forget. I did a few weeks of just kind of like mucking around back at home, and then I was like, all right, it's time.
Enjoying being graduated?
Yeah, enjoying being graduated, not having a schedule, all that good stuff. And then because I figured, once you start the real world, you can't stop it, so to say. And then just did my courses online, actually.
Me too.
Yeah, through allied schools.
I can't remember who. I think I did First Tuesday or something like that. One of them, but
First Tuesday's still around.
Yeah, they gave me some trouble.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if I wasn't taking them serious because I was doing them at the same time as I was training for football. I was basically on my way out of football.
That's tough.
And on my way into real estate, so I would train really early in the mornings, go in and work with my mom. And then, because she works in escrow, my mom's in the industry. She's an escrow officer. And I basically asked her the same thing. How do I get started? Okay, we'll come in and see how it goes. So during that little buffer period, I was taking my classes at night.
Got it.
And by the time I went home, I was like, fuck, I worked out.
It just wasn't your focus.
Yeah, I was filing papers for 4 hours. Mom was bossing me around. Shit. Like, it's cool I had a job and everything. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining, but I'm just giving a reason of why maybe my classes didn't go so well. So I scraped by the skin of my teeth. Took the test. I did really well on the exam though. I felt really really comfortable and passed it first try. So
Yeah, did you do a crash course? Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, I think that's where it's at. Everybody was telling me it's like, the classes are whatever. And quite honestly, I just blazed through them, did the practice quiz, kind of kept my practice quiz when I was taking the final test. And
blazed through them. Shout out CBD.
And then, passed those. And then it's just a matter of setting that test date, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
And then that crash course was like, I felt like every question on the test was on that crash course except for maybe 2. So.
Yeah. So you graduated. Mm-hmm. Took your test. Passed it first try.
Yep.
Hit up Gary.
Yep.
So let's go to work.
Yeah, I mean, at that time I was kind of already going in and learning the ropes, but I wasn't really, I wasn't getting paid until, I had my license. And then, it took the whole process, I think, because there's a minimum amount of time you have to have each course open. Mm-hmm. Took 2 or 3 months to do the classes and then schedule the test. And then you got to wait. At that time, it wasn't digital results. So you had to wait 2 weeks for them to send you back results.
Did Gary close his other office?
No, he kept it open.
Did he?
Yeah.
Made it through.
Made it through.
Like a savage.
Like a savage.
Still open?
Yep.
Like
still
a
open.
savage. That's
Yep.
what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Cool. So now you're a partner of 2 offices.
Well, so how the whole business model works is I'm actually his partner for resale.
Okay.
So, we for buying and selling houses, his partnership with owning the offices is a separate entity. So, but it's
Cool. Is your mom still a realtor?
She is.
She's still doing some deals?
Yeah, she is.
Cool, man.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice thing because I get to work with my mom, but I don't have to work with my mom. As I'm sure you can.
I was just going to say, I know what you're talking about. Especially with real estate, you get so much freedom. I guarantee neither one of you guys are in the office at the same time.
Yeah.
Rarely.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, so she works from home office. So it's like, it'll be nice because I see her probably 3 or 4 times a week, just enough.
Yeah. Are you in the office a lot? Or
Yeah,
do you have a home office?
we do it. We kind of have a little team. It's me, Gary, and then we have an assistant, Marissa, who's a godsend.
Yeah.
I'll shout her out right now.
Marissa?
Yeah. She
Big step in hiring an assistant?
Yeah, we had just a transaction coordinator for going on probably the first few years. Mm-hmm. And then it was kind of like, things just fall through the cracks.
A TC paid on a per deal basis?
So how that works. Yeah, if you want to explain what a transaction coordinator is. I don't know if your listeners probably already know what that is.
Go ahead. I'm in a nutshell, you sign the contract to purchase and hand it over to the transaction coordinator, and they make sure that everything goes smoothly. Ideally, this is how my transaction coordinator works, and I love her to death. I sign the contract, I hand it over to her. She handles everything with escrow, and she lets me know what needs to be done for, quote, the escrow to close. So
deadlines and
Yeah, and I pay her a flat rate.
Yeah.
I think I don't want to discuss it because it's none of y'all business.
So yeah, that's great to have, and any agent that doesn't hire a transaction coordinator, the first step for a new agent, hire a transaction coordinator.
Even on your first deal,
100%. It just because it takes the handcuffs off, you can go do what makes you money as prospect.
Bring in another deal,
right?
Put something else in the pipeline.
So
you had a TC, you were working with the TC.
Yep, TC, and phone calls. How do you do? It's tough whenever you have a team or a partnership. Because, getting everybody on the same page is always difficult. So it's like now when we hired Marissa, we had one person to kind of hold down the phone calls and the transactions, knew what was going on with our marketing. So we didn't miss anything, deadlines, etc.
Did she come in trained?
She had very little actually real estate experience. She had worked in escrow, but yeah, we kind of had to train her from the basics on.
Would you call that good or bad? At least you didn't have to break bad habits.
Yeah, well, it's good because it's a little more affordable. Bad because that you have to make sure that things don't fall through the cracks still. But good, just like you said, you get to kind of train her to how you guys operate. So it's pretty nice.
So most of your business is retail.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. Well,
yeah,
I mean,
resale.
You and I have been trying to get a deal going.
So we worked with a few investors during the time flipping was real serious, but mostly we work with the average Joe, so to say, on resale.
Right. Well, that's cool. You got a lot of deal flow going, it sounds like, and you got your team, you, Marissa, Greg.
Gary.
Gary?
Yeah.
Sorry, Greg. Sorry, Gary. My bad, dude. Sounds like you guys got it pretty dialed down. So Marissa helps you with marketing.
Yeah, so she's more than just a transaction coordinator, which is why we stepped up to the
Cool.
full-on assistant. So she's 9 to 5, and then handles
In an
our-
office, or is she remote?
No, she's comes into the office.
Good.
So it's kind of cool because Gary's got an office. I'm right in front of him, and she's right to the right of me. So we have a little triangle going. So if one person's on the phone, it's kind of cool because you can kind of eavesdrop on what's going on and kind of pick up on transactions.
Speaking of marketing, you guys got to follow Jason on Instagram. He's at realtor_ninja.
Realtor Ninja.
Realtor Ninja. Dude's legit. Dude trains jujitsu like 4 or 5 days a week, 3, 4, 5 days a week.
As much as my wife lets me.
If you train jujitsu and have a job, you know how that goes. But yeah, that's actually how he and I met. I've seen this guy, Realtor Ninja. I'm saying, okay, he's in real estate. I'm in real estate, and we trained a lot with the same people because we both train under Eddie Bravo's system, the 10th Planet system.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Coach Eddie Bravo. And I noticed we were training with the same people, so I sent him a message and kind of introduced myself, and that was a few months ago, and we parlayed that into a little relationship. And now, as soon as he gets a deal he thinks will work out for me, he calls me, and we see if it'll work. Normally, I get outbid, as the way it goes.
Tough market, man.
Yeah, a lot of people are willing to cut it close, but yeah, Realtor Ninja. Don't sleep on the Realtor Ninja.
Yeah, don't sleep on me, bro.
So does she help you with that, or do you run that?
No, I run that. What she will help with, though, is... if we just sold, just listed,
Okay.
She'll set up a little picture on Instagram, and so I can blast it out there. Just
gotta hand that over.
hand it over.
Hand that over to
Really?
her, dude. Yeah, man. If you listen to my episode, I talk a lot about automation.
Yeah.
Now, every episode, I'm gonna start talking about a tool that really helps me.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's heard of these Instagram tools that you can schedule. I'm putting air quotes up because
Hmm.
it's fake. You can schedule it, but it doesn't really do shit for you. It basically just gives you a pop-up reminder and says, hey, post this.
Got it.
And that's okay until I found this system. It's called Busy.io, busy.io. Basically, you get a post a day for $5 a month. So 30 posts for $5. You upload the posts in bulk. So
Oh, you kind of do it all at once. and
exactly,
then they just flow
instead
it
of
out.
making one image, you put together a content schedule, which is what I was having Voz read. Voz is here. He's helping with some production. He doesn't have a mic, but shout out Voz.
Yeah, Voz.
He was reading some PDFs about setting that up. You just set up a content plan, give it to her. So that way, if she knows how to make images, she makes
Yeah.
them all at once,
Photoshop.
uploads it all at once.
Yeah, because you know how it
that
is.
going.
It's like you post and you post 3 or 4 things, and then you feel like you're posting too much, and then you're like, all right, I'll make it a little break, and then you don't post for a week, and then you feel guilty.
Yep.
And then you post too much, and then it's like, oh, I'm barraging people with stuff.
And then you're at this point, you're saying, okay, I'm not doing this right. But, you have a lot of good message to deliver. So we'll talk a little bit more off record, but on record, take a step back, look at it from an above point of view and say, okay, what is my goal? Who's my target? What are they looking for? And how am I going to reach them without being annoying?
Yeah.
Look at it on a calendar. Say, on Monday, I want to do motivation. On Friday, I want to do, flash.
Evidence of success.
Yeah.
something like
And
that.
in
Yeah.
TBT, you do a deal that's at least a year old, and then
Yeah.
you schedule it, and then you have her build it, post it. Then you don't have to worry about anything. You check your Instagram, you got a bunch of likes and everything. And not only that,
I think it's just consistency too.
consistency.
Yeah.
And it's a consistent message. So, man, if she sounds very capable, and if she's
Yeah, totally.
willing, I would try to hand that over.
Add it onto the long list of stuff that we already have her do, but that's all right.
Sorry, Marissa, I blew it for you. I'm sure you can find my email somehow, some way if you
Yeah.
want to curse me out.
Nah, she'll be all right.
So obviously you came in with a partner, but you showed your worth right out the gate. A lot of people's problem getting started is leads. Were those ready there for you, or?
Well, that's the thing is I started and everybody says, why are you getting into real estate? It was 2010, I think, that I was officially licensed. And that was back, sorry, I'm doing some adjustments.
Go ahead,
still
adjust
here.
it. We're in the home studio set up. This is my first live show.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm really excited. I couldn't
Maiden
be more
voyage.
excited that it's Jason. So we're both here. We're in my home office and got the full mic set up live. So if you hear any adjustments, we're kind of just setting the booms.
We're figuring it out, people.
We
all right?
really
Relax.
apologize.
So that was the time of short sales, which I'm sure you are familiar with.
I heard about it. It was before I got in.
Yeah, it was just when the market was coming back and all the loans were modifying and balloon payments were being due and all that good stuff. So unfortunately, there were quite a few people in the United States that owned or owed more on their house than what the value was. So yeah, the first year was pretty tough. And then looking back now, and in a sigh of appreciation, I'll say it. Geez, Gary taking me on at that time in the market was like a big risk on his part. So makes me even more thankful that this is all working out.
Right.
But yeah, got in when short sales were a thing. So I was sitting at, I mean, there's always an open house. So I was sitting at an open house basically every weekend, picking up buyer leads. And then on the other hand, Gary was, he started in 78. So this is his 39th year in the business. And back then, how you generated leads was geographical farming. So that was a big chunk of my responsibility. Still is.
Like having a title company pull a farm
Well,
for you.
yeah, and he had already the trick is he had already established his farms, but he had been out of them for maybe 10 years or so, walking them.
Oh, so he was
Door to door knocking.
Cool.
So I went out with him one day, and he's like, "All right," in his shirt and tie, and pulled out his farm cards and 25 notepads and a newsletter, and we knocked a street together. And basically, all it was is just getting to know people, making relationships, friendships, and being the local professional.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of where a big portion of our business is today.
Still.
Yeah. 100%.
So you're that same farm that you started in
He started in 70 something, 80 something.
and the one that you kind of helped revamp it, and once that started, that still keeps bringing you
Yeah,
leads?
so I think I don't know, it took me like 3 or 4 years probably before people start like recognizing me out there and remembering me and all that good stuff. Because anybody that's geographically farmed, a lot of times you're going up against competition, other geographical farmers, or just like the onesie twosie agents that, they have their aunt or their sister that's in the business.
Yeah.
I forget where I was going with that.
We're just talking about leads.
Oh yeah, and so probably the last 2 years now, we've had. I mean, that's probably 75% of our business. So
Good. That's awesome. So moral of the story is don't be scared to get out there and knock doors.
That's the biggest thing now is like everybody wants to be online and Facebook and Instagram and whatever. And that's important. I think in like the Zillows and the Trulias and the Redfins, that's important. But man, it's just like, if you can stomach it, it's worth every minute that you spend out there for sure.
And even if it's not immediate, you're going to see the results down the line if you're still in the game.
Yeah. And I think that's the hardest part is the results, because you go out and you knock 25, 50 doors, you talk to 3 people, you don't get any instant gratification there.
Right.
I mean, maybe you have a good conversation, but it's not like, oh man, I'm going to go list and sometimes you do go list a house, but it's like we sat down, it was a couple months ago, with somebody that Gary's been knocking on our door for like 30 years. And me like 4 or 5, and then finally she's going to be selling her house next year. So It's like that kind of stuff.
Hey, you got the listing though.
Oh yeah, it's like, but what you don't see that at the time is 6 months down the road when all of a sudden you just sold your last listing and you're thinking, where's my next lead coming from?
Right.
You get a phone call and it's like, hey Jason, it's time to sell my house.
Why does it always seem to work like that?
I don't know, man, but it does.
You probably, I feel like I'm getting over the hump, but the hump where you're like deal to deal.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I've been doing the marketing. I've been doing what I need to do.
It's like, where's
the well's running.
Where's the phone call?
The well is running dry.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, ding, 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 ding.
I'm never going to sell another house again.
And then all of a sudden,
you had 4 listings or something. Yeah.
How does it? So it worked like that for you?
Yeah, I mean, we
Law
had
of attraction, or what is it? I don't know how good it.
I mean, I'm sure they say, you take off a day now, you're going to feel it in 90 days or whatever.
Especially as a realtor.
Yeah.
Especially as a realtor.
So there's something like that going on. Sometimes I think it's just timing. Because, I mean, man, we had a month, our February month, we didn't sell a house, but we had our best year that we've had.
Overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gross. So it was like, yeah, you kind of look at it. It's like, well, what were we doing 3 months ago?
Mm-hmm.
Well, November, December. Yeah, we took a couple vacations.
Yeah. Guys, we are going to step away just for 1 second to fill up our coffee, and we're going to join the audio back up. Hang on a sec. And we're back. We grabbed our coffee. Voz went for a run. We smoked him out. I smoked him out.
Yeah.
Fuck. We trained. Me and Jason, we rolled a little bit. He showed up. We got a little roll in and got some CBD activity in afterwards.
That's
and
jiu-jitsu for you,
Yeah.
Rollers.
Rolling. Sorry. Rolling
We
is...
weren't taking ecstasy.
Yeah, no. We were rolling jiu-jitsu, which is essentially wrestling. We were wrestling around and putting each other in some submissions.
Yeah.
And then partook in some CBD activity, and Voz had to get some fresh air. We had to get some coffee. We're back. We're here.
Back.
And Jason and I were actually just talking about... I didn't know this, so this is the first time he and I have rolled. I actually thought he'd been doing jiu-jitsu a lot longer than 9 months. Jason has game. I'm the ultimate sandbagger. I've been doing jiu-jitsu for like 5-6 years.
You can tell.
Yeah, I'm not very good. But my body has picked up a few things over the years. So I thought Jason had been doing it for a long time as well. So I just heard he'd been doing it 9 months, and we're actually both talking about injuries going on when he got into it. So we're going to take a break real quick from talking about leads, and fuck it, we'll jump into lifestyle. And on that note, we'll talk about jiu-jitsu. So 9 months in jiu-jitsu.
9 months in.
You said you got hurt initially, or you just
Yeah,
your body was getting used to it, or what?
And I guess everything has a story for the start. Actually, my dad passed about a year ago on the 5th of December, and
Really, about a year ago.
Cancer, almost a year ago, 56.
Cancer's a son of a bitch, huh?
And it really is. It kind of just like you have an event in your life that hits you, and it's like, I've always been a guy that likes to live in the moment, try new things, all that stuff. But, you always have that portion of you where you hold yourself back or whatever. So, after that happened, I told myself, all right, 2016, I'm going to, put everything into living. Exactly.
Yeah.
Not try the things that I haven't done before. And one of the things on that list was jiu-jitsu. And, of course, listening to podcasts and stuff.
Giving me chills right now, dude. That's serious, dude. That's what it's about.
Man.
That's a huge, I call that a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
It just changes the way you look at the world.
Seriously.
So I take it you and your dad were close.
Yeah, we were pretty close, just like anybody's. Well, no.
Not anybody.
Yeah.
You're lucky. I'm lucky. I got a good relationship. But so your dad passed. You had a paradigm shift. You said, fuck it. I'm going to live harder.
I'm going to live hard. I'm going to live hard.
Yeah. I'm going to live hard. I'm going to party hard. No. I'm just living hard.
Yeah, and that was one of those things on the list where I'm like, you know what? Like, I've always, the gym, quite honestly, the gym was getting boring. You know how that is, just doing the same lifts over and over again.
So you were 24-hour fitness in it. LA
yeah,
fitness.
And actually, go figure, there's 2 paradigm shifts. I had just thrown out my back for the first time ever.
Let me guess, CrossFit.
No, well, I was doing a deadlift. So it was a motion,
Okay.
I wasn't trying to do them as fast as I could, but I was... Yeah.
Getting down on lifting heavy weight.
Yeah. Just, that's all after lifting for sports. And literally mid pull up, I felt my back like snap basically and pop back in. And then I couldn't walk immediately. I waited probably 5 or 6 hours, 8 Advils and a Vicodin, and I couldn't even sit up. So it was a non-emergency ambulance to the hospital. And that actually happened a week before Thanksgiving. So that was like at the same time. And I was like, so I was really kicked to the curb at that point. I was like, oh my God, like I can't do anything.
This is last Thanksgiving?
This is last Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So then I was like, you know what? That didn't work. Lifting isn't going to work. Like I needed an alternative to exercise that is not boring and is not, going to be detrimental to my health. Little did I know that jiu-jitsu was one of those things.
So you didn't think getting choked and your arms mangled were going to be detrimental to your health?
Yeah, I was thinking, man, this should help with my mobility and all that stuff.
But it really has, though. All jokes aside.
It does. Yeah. And there's definitely a break-in period, but the whole, Yeah.
So there was a break-in period.
Oh, yeah.
So why jiu-jitsu? Were you just interested in MMA?
Yeah, a little bit. I'd been watching the UFCs, kind of getting into that. And, it's just I'm one of those things, I always need to be doing something. I don't know, call it ADHD or whatever. It's just like, I just like to constantly be getting better at something. And it was like, oh, it's like built for that kind of like mindset because there's belts, you can earn the next belt or bump yourself up to the next level or whatever. And there's literally endless things that you can be working on. And
Right.
of course there's the internet with all that information that you have. So yeah, that, and I had just been listening to podcasts like, Joe Rogan, Fighter and the Kid, and they're all talking about, if you're going to do a martial art, do jujitsu, because 80% of the fights go to the ground. And it's like, I'm a 30-year-old guy. I'm married. Probably not going to be getting into any bar fights anytime soon.
I hope not, man.
But it's
You never
one of
know.
those. It's one of those things as a guy, you want to be able to know how to defend yourself. So I was like, I had done like kickboxing, and Muay Thai for like, I don't know, it was like 3 or 4 months before I had hurt my back. So I was doing that plus lifting. And it was kind of getting boring because it's kind of like you learn the punches, and then it's like, you learn the punches, and then that's like it. There's no other exciting stuff beyond kicks and punches.
Unless you want to get crazy and spar.
Yeah, so it was like, all right, well, it was the perfect opportunity to jump into jiu-jitsu.
Right.
So I did.
Obviously, listening to Rogan, all that, you said 10th Planet's the way to go.
10th Planet, yeah, I didn't know anything about it. So I was like, well, I know Eddie Bravo being on the podcast and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'm one of those cheesy guys that, I was listening to Joe Rogan and now I do jiu-jitsu.
That's cool, man. I listen to Rogan, so I take on it. And I love it. And I love Alpha Brain. I don't know if it's a placebo or what, but I love that shit.
Works.
Yeah, I love that shit.
So yeah, it's been 9 months.
9
And
months.
Dude,
Tell me
you
about your
could say
break-in
I'm
period.
addicted.
Yeah? Well, yeah, you do it 4 or 5 days a week as much as you can. Tell me about the break-in period. You said you kind of hurt your hips
just
a little bit.
Getting hurt my knee, hurt my hip flexors, hurt my back. Just you're in awkward positions. Your body's not used to doing it. I'm not the youngest guy. My body's been beat up from sports most of my life, so I have some deficiencies in my mobility and all that stuff.
And you found that out. You said you were just telling me before we clicked the air back on that you found that out through was it a mobility specialist?
Yeah, and shout out to Evil Motion. Wayne Daniels over there is a freaking genius.
Yeah, where's he at?
He's actually out of Costa Mesa.
Okay.
Right
Cool.
by the airport over there. But yeah, it's this it's a study called Check. I'm pretty new to it. I've been doing it for 2 or 3 months now. But it's basically corrective movement. Everybody's like, oh man, how can I optimize my body? Or, I don't run right, or my knee always gets pain when I run. Well, most likely it's because your body over the years, through lack of, proper exercise and all of the above, develops incorrectly. So he kind of like walks you back through it. Based on where you're at, and then does exercises to correct
Bad habits.
bad habits.
Inefficiencies.
Yeah, I shouldn't be slouching in this chair, but because we're all crouched over. Well, not all of us, but a lot of us are crouched over at a desk for 6 to 10 hours a day,
Or a car.
or
Right.
sitting, and then that's where my hip flexors and all that stuff happened. So yeah, that's really helped me a lot.
And what is it? Was it measurements? He just
Yeah, measurements, static mobility, basically how far your joints will move without applying any muscle help to them.
okay.
And then evaluating that, and based off his expertise, setting up a workout plan.
Simple workouts.
Pretty
easy,
simple, man.
small
light
corrective stuff.
weights, small corrective stuff.
Are we talking like resetting your pelvis like an eighth of an inch?
Yeah, it's stuff like that, and working on like your inner core, he calls it, your deep inner core muscles.
That's what gave out when you're back.
Exactly.
Because
And-
that's what basically hugs your spine. There's
Yeah.
basically muscles, and depending on how swole you are,
Yeah.
that's what a six pack is supposed to be for. It's supposed to be in your back too, and it just holds your spine tight, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. That's core.
Yeah.
The stuff that keeps
Yeah,
your
and it's
spine in
like,
place.
and it's proper core, whatever he'll call it, because most people are just lifting off your joints and stuff, which I still And I mean, it's a constant struggle. And you see, even though I'm not lifting as much weight, it's like so much more cerebral, if you will, to concentrate on keeping your body a certain way and using the deep inner muscles, as he says, to do those exercises, right?
The ones that get tired when you're like, I'm tired. Or like, what's tired? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, but fuck, I'm
Yeah,
tired.
Exactly.
Yeah, it sounds like he would be into angles. Like he's big into angles when you lift and
Yeah.
using your bones rather than your muscles.
Yeah.
And training your muscles to work properly along the bones.
With each other, too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm into that. I'm into movement. I like that. Shoot, let's stay on lifestyle. I know that you hunt.
Yes.
I just started hunting. I haven't said anything about it on the podcast. If you guys follow my personal Instagram, you may have seen I came up empty-handed on my first deer season.
That's all right.
Jason, however, did not. So why don't you tell these folks what you bagged this year and how long you've been hunting, how you got into it, and a little bit about your hunting experience.
Man, my grandparents are from and still are in Kenosha, Wisconsin, so kind of like that Midwest. So the whole thing, you go back to visit grandma and grandpa, and they have taxidermy on the walls, dead heads on the
Right.
walls. So it was always kind of like there. But being that I'm from California, unless your family hunts in California, you don't hunt just because that's California.
Right.
So I've always kind of like wanted and been interested in doing it my whole life. And then up until I graduated college and got an income because hunting isn't free, come to find.
Even though public land's free,
Yeah.
it is an expensive sport.
Equipment, camouflage, all that good stuff.
Yep.
And that was right after college. So I've probably been hunting now for about 5 years. Bow hunt, duck hunt, goose hunt.
No big game with a rifle, all bow.
All bow. For whatever reason, I feel like rifle hunting's cheating. And I just like the aspect of, man, if you can do it with a bow and arrow, then you deserve to be able to accomplish that. So
I hear you there. Wholeheartedly.
yeah, so I've actually been bow hunting for 4 years probably. And I hadn't shot in anything until this year, so
Really?
yeah.
What'd you shoot this year,
So,
Realtor Ninja?
Yeah, this year I went on my second elk hunt in Idaho with my good friend Cameron Rains, who lives in Idaho, and I was out there for 9 days, and I was lucky enough to have a 15-yard shot on an elk.
Bagged you a bull?
Yeah, bull. Nice little 6x6 as they call them. And found out how expensive it was to bring 225 pounds of meat back on a plane. It's not free.
So I'm sure most of you guys know what an elk is, but imagine a deer fucked like a reindeer,
Yeah,
kinda, and then
on steroids.
exactly. I was just gonna say, and then
Yeah.
you pump them full, like you put them, like you make him look like Vitor.
Yeah, exactly.
You make his neck super thick. Anyway, how big was the bull?
He wasn't like a giant. So anybody that hunts, I think he measured like 263. So I mean, it's probably about an average sized bull. So he was probably about 900 pounds on the hoof, and then hanging up, he was 296 with the bones in.
So 260 something. That's a measurement of how long
Antlers. Yeah.
So it measures antlers at different angles, different everything.
angles, bases, thickness.
Cool. So it just takes all those into account and comes up
Yeah.
with a number.
Yeah,
So 260.
3.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
And you and your wife are eating it every night.
Dude, I was my wife has not liked anything that I've cooked wild game up until now. Granted, I had ducks and geese, so I wasn't sure what she was gonna think. And quite honestly, I had some elk and I wasn't sure, but everybody tells me it's delicious. And dude, yeah, we eat it almost every single day.
What'd you get? What'd you bring back as far as cuts? How'd you bring it back? And
Oh yeah,
sorry if you
So
guys
we-
don't want to hear about hunting
Yeah,
and
you
meat,
can
or you're a
skip.
vegetarian, just press forward a few 15-second jumps and
Yeah.
you'll be good. So what'd you bring back and how do you prepare it?
Most of it, probably half of it is in burger form. So
Okay.
it's like you mix it in with like 10% pork, and it's kind of like you can either put it together mash it up and turn it into burger, like burger patties, and actually like a cheeseburger. Or what we like to do is, man, is just throw some taco seasoning on it, and you can mix it in with eggs.
Whatever
or
you
just
use
eat it.
ground beef for,
Yeah, whatever.
basically.
Exactly. Yeah, whatever you use ground beef for, except for it's a way leaner version. Like you won't get that big. You know when you eat a cheeseburger,
Yeah.
you get that pit in your stomach. You don't get it at all.
And they add because elk's super lean, and they
Super
add
lean.
a little bit of fat with the
Yeah,
pork.
they add a little bit of fat just so that it helps keep it together. So
Did you get some steaks?
I got some steaks. Got, man, probably like 100 pounds of steaks.
100 pounds worth of steaks?
Steaks, round steaks. Got a couple roasts.
Cool.
And then just cut the backstrap and the tenderloin up.
And it was expensive to get it back.
It was probably, what was it, like $600.
Dry ice, package it.
No, man, it's all flash frozen. So I had like 3 coolers full. It's basically having 3 coolers full of ice packs.
Okay.
So I just threw it in the cooler, duct taped it closed. I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but TSA is like, yeah, just throw it in the baggage area, and it went through the thing. And I'm like, you don't need to see inside of it. Like, no, we're going to x-ray it. If there's anything suspicious, they'll open it up. But yeah, it was easy. I was like, wow.
I'm sure it's not the first time they've seen it coming down from there.
Yeah, and quite honestly, you guys are like, oh, why did you go all the way to Idaho to shoot something to bring it back, and you just go to the store? No, you can't.
It's not like that.
And
No, it's not like that, guys.
and I did the math, and it actually worked out to be like $7 a pound
I was just going to say, probably economical.
with the tag, plane flight, food, paying for it to come back, and the butcher. $7 a
How many days were you out hunting?
I was out there 9 days.
Ooh. Got it on the 9th day?
No, I actually shot 2. Yeah, so I got the first one on the 3rd day, and then the second one on the 6th day.
Good.
And then I just got a cow and a female.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it was. I actually have 100 pounds of meat out there still waiting for me.
To be shipped back.
Yeah,
Flash
I'll
frozen.
probably, it's flash frozen in a freezer.
Yeah,
But
you know what I'll do? Let me just write down my address.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. You can have them send it here.
Send it here.
I'll just hold it for you.
Just
Make
cover
sure it
half the
stays
cost
safe.
for me, will you?
Yeah, dude. I'll make sure it stays safe.
It's kind of interesting because,
I bet the cow's gonna taste better than the bull.
oh yeah, that's what everybody is telling me because it was, man, it's super tender. But with shipping, it's like if you're not doing freight, then anything under 300 pounds is like super expensive. Once you hit 300 pounds, you can go like UPS freight or FedEx freight, and then the cost cuts off because you have to overnight it.
Right.
Because it's frozen, you know?
Okay.
Unless you want to roll the dice and do the 2. Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
That's not
So,
why you wait a whole year. Planning.
yeah, exactly. And I was like, I'm probably going out there next year, so.
I severely underestimated the amount of planning that is involved in finding animals.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's what you spend most of your time doing.
Yeah.
It's not, yeah.
So I haven't had an off season. This is my first one that we're in coming up. What do? You just map out where you want to go,
Yeah, I mean.
practice your shot.
Practice, I think, is what most people don't do, which is what you probably should do more.
Side note, that's why I missed a deer on my last trip. I didn't practice enough. It wasn't by any means a good buck. It was a split fork, but I got a good shot on it, and I shot right over his back from 70 yards like a chump.
Yeah, and I had the same experience multiple times, so I know where you're coming from, and that's what. Granted, my first bow kill was at 15 yards away. It wasn't like a 40 or 50 yard shot, so it's
I
a
think
little easier.
I severely underestimated how, I don't want to say scared, but the feeling I was gonna feel
Buck
when
fever,
I was
man, is what they call it.
Man, when I look, even if you look at it from a good pair of optics from 150 yards, you're like, oh, you get
Yeah.
like this little.
The heart
feeling.
starts pounding, man.
I can only imagine 15 yards full draw waiting for a bull elk to walk around the.
Dude, and it's even worse because they're like bugling in the trees and raking their horns, and you're not sure when they're gonna come out, and it's
1,000 pounds with forks on its head, and you're hoping
Spikes.
it's not pissed.
Yeah, exactly.
So
So
what are you
yeah,
hunting next year?
when?
What are you hunting? What?
Well,
and when?
hopefully, I mean, hopefully I'll get back out to Idaho and see if we can't do the same thing again.
Is it a draw?
No, it's over the counter, so it's pretty much a guarantee. It's just a matter of making the time to go over there
And forking
So,
the out-of-state dough.
Yeah, it is a little pricier.
$500-$600.
It's $416, so it's actually not as bad as a lot of the states. But to hear what they get, it's like $175, and they get bear, deer, elk, turkey, mountain lion, all of it. And they're
Idaho's a
outdoorsmen.
wild place.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, yeah, and it's like, when we were out there, we saw wolves, and you hear coyotes, wolves, so you're carrying around a sidearm. It's not like the concrete jungle here in California. It's like people out there need people that are taking care of
Right.
the game,
Like, and
conservationists, if you will.
now you have a little experience, but me
Yeah.
having not been out, I mean, I go out, I go hunting, but it's different. There's no bears.
Yeah,
I think there's mountain lions, pretty rare.
there probably are.
Probably are, but dude, it's different. When you go out in the wilderness, you gotta go with somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, dude.
You don't want to end up sleeping in bear country with someone who doesn't.
Well, just being by yourself, man. I've gone out a couple times deer hunting by myself, and it's like it's a cool experience, like being out there and just doing it on your own. But it's like, oh man, yeah, we're in California. There's rattlesnakes here. Like if I get bit, like
You just start thinking of shit.
yeah,
Like shit.
yeah, exactly. So it's like, well, the buddy system's always the best way to go for sure. It's more fun too because
Yeah.
we're out
Shoot
there
the shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Do hunting stuff.
Yeah,
A lot of napping involved midday for me.
there is.
Like
'Cause
that.
Wake up early, and you get tired.
Yeah. When sun's overhead.
But I do real estate too.
I was just gonna
with
say
all this other
there's
stuff.
more there's more to it than that. So the only reason we're talking about that is because I really wanted to emphasize how much freedom and lifestyle you get to experience and really create your own hours and the life that you want in real estate if you're able to find your niche and have some success. Would you say that you're an example of that?
Yeah, I mean that was one of the big things that my business partner preached and still does is time off. There's you see agents in the business all the time that just burn themselves out and go crazy, and then they take a month off, and then all of a sudden, that they have a valley, and then they don't sell a house for 2 or 3 months because they haven't been grinding it. So it's like he makes me take a day off every week.
Okay.
He gets to take a day
During
off.
the working week? Or?
Yeah, working week. So he
Cool.
takes Tuesdays off, I take Fridays off, or during hunting season, I take Wednesdays off.
And you'll duck hunt.
Yeah, typically.
Okay.
And then because we work the weekends, and you'd be surprised. You just taking a weekday off versus a weekend off. It's like everybody's at work. There's no lines anywhere. You like blaze through your to-do list. It's just a time that you get to like just reset.
Yeah.
And it's
it
like
breaks up your week.
dude, big time.
Great. Yeah.
So as long as, and the thing is not all realtors do that or can get to do that. Fortunately, we have a partnership, so
Right.
he's on when I'm off. But that's why you got to get a TC or an assistant, because you get somebody to answer your phones, and then all of a sudden on that Tuesday off, your TC can say, or your assistant can say, hey, Jason takes Tuesdays off because he works on the weekends. He'll be back in the office tomorrow. So that way people still feel like they're getting taken care of, and then you get that time to reset.
Is she going to be licensed? Is she going to end up being
Maybe
licensed?
Eventually, just because,
If she decides.
yeah, ideally, we generate enough business to where there's enough buyer leads to where we can pass those off, kind of like a buyer's agent. I don't know Gary's exit plan, maybe 5 to 10 years. We kind of kick the can down the road every year, and I think he enjoys it. He enjoys running the office. The more we grow together as business partners, the more trust he has in me to just kind of handle things. The more I'm becoming more well known in our farm areas, geographical farm areas.
Right. Which takes a long time.
Yeah, people aren't like, oh, it's just Jason, not Jason and Gary, which is what you're afraid of when you're kind of letting go. That's the initial reaction is, oh, Gary's retiring. Here's this young guy coming on. So take days off, people.
Who handles your follow up? Do you have a CRM that automates it, or does
We use Top Producer.
Okay.
So it's like a contact manager / set your reminders for you. So we're getting a lot better. That was one of the things when we got an assistant for setting up systems. So as soon as we get a new contact, we plug it in there. We just got to remember to log in,
Right.
and look at our to do. So
Does it automate a lot of it?
and it
with Top
automates
Producer?
it. Yeah, that's the best part. Is the one thing I wish it would do is like kind of send you a message like, get on Top Producer today, but probably set that up. But one of Gary's responsibilities, I'll say, is, with his length of time in the business, is he sets up his Top Producer for follow-ups for phone calls. So I'm out in the field knocking or showing or whatever, and he's in the office handling broker stuff slash following up with past clients. So it's kind of like a perfect.
Does it do text messages and emails for you?
I don't know. I don't think so.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
That'd be cool.
Oh, it does do emails, like mass emails and stuff, and it sends them one at a time, which is cool because we've actually just gotten into green screening and doing videos for our listings and stuff.
Green screening.
Yeah, so we do a little like, hey, Gary and Jason here, just listed, blah, 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 come to our open house 1 to 4.
Okay.
And then Marissa will green screen the picture of our listing in the background and maybe switch to like do a kitchen shot or something like that. Cool. And we'll blast that out to our past clients.
Cool. So you have a mailing list.
Yeah, mailing list.
MailChimp, or does Top Producer do that?
Top Producer does it. Yeah,
Cool.
so we have categories, past clients that are close, past clients that are far, our different farm areas, and then we break it up that way.
Is that a monthly fee, Top Producer? Or
Yeah,
do you just
monthly
pay once?
fee.
Pretty up there?
No, it's like $90 for
that's feasible.
the 3 of us, so it's not too bad. So, and it has all those tools, which makes everything pretty. And our listing presentation is out of it too, so we use it for a lot of stuff.
Interesting. I got a question for you. So you own a couple houses. Being a realtor, what are some contract intricacies that you've seen from investors that maybe help them get the deal? Because right now I'm seeing so much of blank LLC and or assignee with a 14-day escrow and a 7-day close, and then you're getting people that are testing it like, oh, I'll do a 3-day or 14-day escrow with a 7-day inspection. Now people are cutting it to like a 3-day inspection.
Yeah.
And then some people put up like no inspection. I don't like playing that game. And I've kind of found a workaround for that. And I want to talk to you about maybe other ones that you've seen that realtors have been successful with. Investors when they're submitting offers.
Yeah, I mean, man, we just have one right now. I think the last one that I kind of like tipped you off on, which is kind of an interesting situation. But we had several investor offers. The one that we ended up going with is kind of doing that right now, where they're like just changing their vesting. So basically what I'm finding out is a lot of investors are just trying to lock the property up, and then they're blasting it out to a bunch of realtors, and they're basically just getting a finder's fee. So they buy it from us for $180. They sell it to you for $195 or $190, say. So they take a little chunk of the piece of the bone or whatever, and then or piece of the meat.
Yeah.
And then they buy it from us and then sell it to you, and they do no fixes, take no of the remodel, no responsibility for the remodel, all that stuff. And they get their $10,000 finder fee.
Yeah. And what's sick is when that chain gets 4 people long.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I said, we're mostly resale. So I was tipped off by another realtor who was representing an investor who had an offer on our property. And he said, hey, I just got a text messages the day after you told me somebody else bought it, advertising your listing at a higher price. So I was like, wow, didn't even know that world was out there.
That world is out there, and it is it's
brutal, it sounds like.
It's rampant in like entry-level houses in California, 400 to 600 purchase price. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So my workaround for that has been I submit, because I'm not an assigner, I don't assign.
Yeah.
I won't do that. If I'm planning on selling it to somebody, I'll close on it first, make sure it's funded, make sure that the deal I made with the seller, the realtor, whoever I've been dealing with is fulfilled.
Yeah.
And if my exit strategy from that point on is, shit, I can make a good profit turning right around, doing nothing to this and selling it, I'll do that. But I won't lock something up and then look for someone to sell it to. That's
while you're in escrow.
Hell no.
That's tough, man.
Hell no, that's bad business. And dude, what's even sicker?
That's what I was thinking.
Is I've seen people put in like 0.5% for deposit and then not be able to sell it. So what they'll do is they'll say, I want to buy the house at $200,000 and I'll put
$5,000 in.
Less, $2,500. I'll put $2,500 in, no inspection period. And then they'll just lose it. Yeah. Because they'll do 10 of them, you know what I mean? And they'll win 3. Yeah. And they're getting $30,000 for each of those, so they'll bite it on. They'll bite the $2,500 on the other side. Dude, it's seriously sick, man. And I'm tired of competing with those people. So I've been thinking of what's my workaround? We're talking about contract intricacies and what you can do to kind of put yourself a leg above the competition on super competitive houses, especially in California, which is like 400 to 600 purchase price to resale price. What I've been doing is I've been calling the realtor and saying, look, this is what I do. I send them my websites. I send them my podcast, and I say, look, I make a living off this. I need to do this to live. I buy things in my family trust, and all my contracts are non-assignable. I write, this is a non-assignable contract, and I don't buy stuff sight unseen, and I think that actually helps me. If they're collecting offers sight unseen, I'm saying I don't want in.
Yeah.
Because that's not an educated offer.
Well, yeah, that's what I was. My only tip would be, hey, get your contractor out there and know what your bottom line is, what you got to buy it at, and just make an educated offer.
Exactly. So I always do non-assignable. I always buy in my family trust because it just looks better. And if you're taking the liability and if you're all in on real estate, then it doesn't matter about a corporation. I know all these different people are teaching, you know, oh, you got to get a limited liability corporation and da-da-da-da. Well, I'm not planning on fucking snaking people.
Yeah.
So you can know who I am. You can look up my website. You can find out what I do. And that's actually been helping me a lot.
Yeah.
I'm saying, look, I don't want to play the game where it's basically dick measuring. I can do it. I can do my inspections in 3 days. I can do my inspections in 1 day. Well, dude, I don't want to play that because I'm serious about buying your house. And if I give you an offer, I'm going to come through with it. So that's kind of what I've felt. In the last 3 months, I kind of switched to that. I was doing the LLC with a short escrow, short inspection, and I was losing. And I'm like, this ain't the way to go.
Yeah.
So you noticed that. What do you think that would work?
I mean, probably just because, man, it's just happening to us right now, which I don't know how it really affects our seller. So it's like, we don't deal with him as much.
So if he doesn't find an end buyer.
Well, it sounds like he did because literally this morning I got the addendum saying, hey, nothing changes for your seller, but we're taking vesting in the name of a different LLC, which, so, you know, after that tip that I got from that realtor, I looked into it, and a couple of agents thought since he didn't put will not assign, that he can assign, but technically there's an assignment clause. It says it right now. I think it's on like page 7, and it says, buyer will not assign property to without seller's written consent. And then it says seller can't unreasonably deny your request.
That's in the RPA?
That's in the RPA.
Or did he write that?
No, that's in the RPA. And every purchase agreement that you write. So I'm like, wait a second. It's like, it doesn't even matter if you didn't write it.
So it's ambiguous from the start.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it and it's like,
I don't know what to make
what's
of it.
unreasonable? And it's like, yeah. And really, what are you going to do if you're not
and that's okay.
Your seller's not.
It's okay that it doesn't matter for your seller, but for people who are like, hey, I got a tax payment coming up and I don't have the money and I'm about to get taken.
Yeah.
These people don't care. They're gonna do the same thing. Put up $2,500, try to find a buyer, and if they don't, it's your seller's problem. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're back out on the market
on the market.
Yeah.
Which is okay for some people, but for others it's not.
Yeah.
So anything that you've seen that kind of combats that?
You know, good relationships, I would say is key in all of real estate, especially when you're dealing with, you know, in this case, it was a daughter that lost her father. You know, you don't want to put them through cancel and escrow 2 or 3 times because, you know, people are looking to turn a profit. You want to make sure that it's going to close. And especially, you know, when you're selling a house, maybe where the seller's moving too, you know, out of state, relocating, you know, families with timelines, it's a big deal. So, or you close before a certain day and then all of a sudden, you know, they're not hit with another interest payment and that's $2,500 less that they're going to net because, you know, somebody didn't perform.
So contrary to popular belief, a quick escrow is great, but there is no replacement for rapport, good relationship, and good, clean business.
100%.
You just got to be honest.
Yeah.
Cool.
Especially in real estate, dude.
You do a couple bad ones of them.
Yeah, or one bad one. Yeah. You know, and it's just like in everything. You're a good person. You stick to your word. You give good advice. You always look out for the best interest of your client, and then you're going to be successful.
That's a good motto.
Yeah.
Do you got any good funny stories from the job? Funny stories from open houses?
Anything? I have a pretty good story, I think.
Let's hear a good one if it comes to mind.
All right.
And then I want to hear the jiu-jitsu story about when everyone's ragging on you for being the new realtor ninja.
It's funny because the guy that is actually the story about the whole bachelor party, it was his house that we were in escrow on that this all transpired. So
the first story.
Yeah.
All right, guys, hold on. We got 2 stories coming.
Okay, so the first story I'll tell is the funny thing for real estate. So during the loan process, the loan processor always, you have to update your bank accounts, and they check about your income. So they want to make sure that you're not, you're getting a loan, and they're, qualifying you off of your income and your debts, your income to debt ratio. So they need your bank statements so that they can check to make sure that you're not getting any unsourced funds coming in. You're not getting $5,000 cash or anything like that. Source funds. So one of the last things before you get loan approval is most recent bank statement reflecting the security deposit coming out. So, and this is my good friend who I've known since college. His name's Dave Bennett. Dave Bennett, good client of mine. His deal, and so on his last bank statement, he was in charge of collecting all the rents. So there's, and he lived with 4 other guys. So there was 4 checks every month for like $1,000. So the underwriter was like, "What's this deposit for $3,500 coming out? Coming in every month and going out. It's not on the credit report, blah, blah, blah." And he said, "Oh, I'm in charge of the rents, so everybody writes me a check," right?
Right.
So the underwriter naturally needs to see the copies of the checks from the bank account, each one separately, right? So
For all the months he's lived there.
for the past 3 or 4 months, just to
Okay.
show consistency. So
Okay.
it's not like a debt that he owes forever.
I see.
This is just, he's just responsible for it. So, and this was back in college, right? When we were younger and doing sillier things. And I'm sure all of you that know how to write checks are familiar with the memo section. So think of 5 guys living in a house giving each other a hard time, right? He sends the copies of the checks into my loan processor. And on each month for the past 3 or 4 months, there was a different thing written on the memo section that probably didn't happen, but things like, this check was for last night, and there's a winky face on there, or this check is for
Just
fill
how
in the blank.
5 dudes living with each other.
Fill in
would
the
mess.
blank with a sexual favor or something like that. So he had to submit this officially to the underwriter with a letter of explanation that, hey, these are all college guys. This is actually for rent, not for the sexual favors that are written in the memo section.
I am not a gigolo.
Oh my gosh. It was pretty hilarious because, my loan processor is, 55, and he was getting a pretty good kick out of that. So that's
Did
probably
everything
the
go
funny.
smooth?
But everything was fine. Yeah.
Cool.
The underwriter understood, letter of explanation, all went fine.
That is funny.
That's pretty funny, dude.
Parlaying off that story, same dude.
Oh, same dude.
Later.
Yeah, obviously we're good
Yeah,
friends.
years later now.
Yeah.
It's been Realtor Ninja. Obviously, easy thing to make fun of if you don't know that he really does jujitsu. So his friends decided they were going to make fun of it and put it to the test.
Yeah, we bachelor party a few weeks ago, and a lot of these guys I haven't seen in a while, including Dave Bennett, who is a sailor, so he's gone for 3 months and then back, and so they're all like, "Oh, Jason, jiu-jitsu, this and that. Oh, it's the Realtor Ninja," just
Ragging on you.
razzing me,
Yeah.
and it's whatever. That's what guys do.
Of course.
And after some beverages during the day, at night around the campfire, everybody was finally asking, like, "Oh, does that stuff actually work?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I wouldn't do it if it, didn't work. It's worked on me plenty because,
Right.
being a white belt,
Right.
that's all that happens is you get choked out." So somebody's like, "Well, let me feel it. Let me put me in a triangle." And I was like, "Right here?" We're sitting around a campfire in the dirt. And they're like, "Yeah, I'll do it right now." I was like, "All right, fine." I put him in a triangle, did a little squeeze. Like, "Oh yeah,
Secretly get a little happy.
yeah,
Say, all right,
yeah,
all right,
exactly.
we'll do
Oh
it."
yeah, right here, no problem."
Yeah. So you get down. He lets you cinch it up.
Cinch it up, and
It's a choke. For those of you who don't know what a triangle is,
Triangle choke.
it's basically if you cross your right arm underneath your chin and then let someone put all of their force onto that arm until you choke yourself out,
yeah,
essentially. But you do it with your legs.
yeah.
So Jason's on his back in the dirt, campfire, cinched up, both legs around this dude's neck, one arm in, and we're about to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, so-
where to go from there?
Well, actually, so that guy felt like, "Oh man, that's real." And my other friend, Dave Bennett, was like, "Dude, you didn't even try to get out. Like, I bet you I could poke your eyes or something or whatever, right?"
He said, if I had to, I could.
Yeah,
get out.
exactly. So I was like, "All right, well, do you want to try?" And he's like, "Yeah." So, same, put him in the same position, got it cinched up. And he said, "All right, go." And then so I went, squeezed 2 seconds. I'm like, man, I've been here before, and that really sucks. Mind you,
And it
it's
sucks.
the nighttime, so I can't really see because everybody's crowded around blocking the light from the campfire.
You got
So
drunk strength.
yeah,
A few beers
of
in.
course, few beers in. So I was like, oh man, he's not tapping, he's not feeling it. I'm just gonna take him over the top, get in full mount, and really let him feel it.
Yeah, you're saying
Yeah,
jujitsu's real, and
yeah,
I'm gonna let him know.
yeah, exactly. So I go to flip him over. Mind you, just 2 seconds of squeezing and let off to flip him over. As I'm transitioning to the top, a flash of light hits his face. I can see he's out cold. Out cold. So as soon as I flip over, I slap him on the cheek, and he wakes right back up and has no idea what just happened.
Did, moral of the story, does
Moral of the
jujitsu
story,
work?
yeah, yep.
Jujitsu works.
Jiu-jitsu works.
Did Dave sign up for the local course?
Well, dude, one of my buddies actually did his first class. He's like, man, I've always wanted to start doing it. So
That
he's
is good.
supposedly he's signing up in a couple weeks here after he moves. So
That's right. I encourage anybody who's thinking about it to do it. I mean, nothing better for body, mind, soul,
yeah, dude.
ego.
Yeah, ego.
Great for the ego.
Great ego check. Talk
Those
about
are-
a roller coaster of
Those are
emotions,
some pretty funny
man.
stories. Those are some good. Dave Bennett.
Yeah,
What's good, man?
See-
What's going on, Dave?
Seaside Strangler.
Come.
That was the nickname for me for the
Oh,
because
for
it was
you.
in Catalina.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, watch your back for the Seaside Strangler,
That's
yo.
right, dude.
Okay. So let's move into something a little more serious. That was funny. Actually, really quick, I gotta tell this story. So I just got a house in Arcadia. I flip homes. People on the listeners know, I just acquired a home in Arcadia, and the lady hasn't lived there for 2.5 years. She moved up to Oregon, passed away like 6 months ago. Kids got the property. I got the house.
Got it.
I'm there Sunday, going over stuff with my contractor, saying, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're leaving. We're walking out the door. We're turning off all the lights. There's electricity still on. And the phone rings. And it's like an
In
old...
the house.
In the house. And it's like an old school phone. It's like ding-ding-ding, the one where the bell hits the... Like the actual bell. And I'm going, well, that's weird. And my contractor was out. And he actually does jiu-jitsu with us too. He actually built HQ, so
Dang.
jiu-jitsu ties right there.
Jeez.
And so I go, dude, come here. And he listens to it. He goes, that's crazy. And he does jiu-jitsu, I do jiu-jitsu. You got two scared dudes in an abandoned house saying, I ain't answering that phone.
It's like a horror movie.
The funny part is he goes back the next day when it's daylight, sun's up. This was Sunday night. So, sun's up, everything's good. Not a spooky atmosphere at all.
Yeah.
Goes and picks up the phone, the line's dead. Not ringing, no dial tone, no nothing.
Dude. So you bought a haunted house. Do you
No.
have to disclose that?
No. I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about hauntedness.
That was allegedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, the line
phone
had no
rang.
tone. Yeah. It's a good story, though.
So
if that
I
was
don't know
true.
if that's fun. No, that's very true. That's ask JP about it, dude. I don't know if that's very true. I mean, I don't know if that's very funny, but fuck, that's very true and very scary. So let's get out of the funniness and get a little bit serious. What are some things that you wish you knew about real estate when you got started? Because there's some listeners that are just thinking about getting into real estate, hearing of the freedom you can have, and kind of envisioning themselves in that world. So what are some tips that you can give them, or some tips that you wish you could have given yourself at 21 when you were taking your courses that maybe would have helped the transition be a little smoother?
Yeah, just not be afraid of the word no, I guess. Because that's what you hear a lot, especially, not getting your offer accepted, somebody listing the house with somebody else, somebody switching buyer's agents. Just getting used to hearing the word no, and because eventually those, you get enough no's, you're going to get a yes. So just I wouldn't let it discourage you, because it's just like anything, man. It's not like a business where you clock in at 8 and you're out at 5 and, you don't do anything and you still get paid. It's like there's a big upside, but there's a big downside. So if you don't work, you're not going to make any money. But if you do work, man, there's nobody's there to tell you can only make, 200,000, 300,000, $500,000.
Exactly.
It's possible.
Yeah.
100%.
And I feel like even if you're damn good, or if you were damn good at something else, selling or whatever, you're still going to have to hear those no's.
Yeah, oh,
You're going to
definitely.
have to deal with those no's, even if you think like, oh, I'm going to get over the learning curve really fast.
Yeah.
You still got to hear X amount of no's
Man.
before you figure out why you're hearing no. Or if you get sometimes you get lucky and luck into a deal in here. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't if you didn't deserve it, but
And it's all how you can set that up for yourself too. Just like with prospecting door to door, you're hearing no, 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 no. But hey, when you finally do get the yes, it's hey, come list my house. And when you get there, it's like they know you, they trust you. You're not having to do the selling there. You do the selling in your marketing and what you put out to your area, your geographical farm if you do that. And dude, there's no better feeling than we just took a list, and that was a call I got a week and a half ago. It was like, man, we have one listing on the market, everything else is in escrow. We're going into the slow times. All of a sudden, Miss Smith calls on Thomas Circle and is like, well, Jason, it's time to move back to Texas and sell my house. I mean, that literally just happened.
right.
Put it on the market, took the listing that night, put it on the market 4 days later, sold it the next week, all cash, and it's going to close before Christmas time.
Which sounds easy,
Which sounds easy.
but the hay was in the barn by the time
Yeah.
she called you.
For sure.
Because you've been, not you, just you and your partner have been hounding that
Yeah.
since the 70s.
Yep. And we chalked that one in particular, up to this neighborhood garage sale and barbecue that we just started doing a couple years back as an idea.
Nice.
Yeah.
Once yearly, once monthly.
Yeah, annually, springtime, the spring out garage clean, and it's
Gets
we
everybody
we
out.
put up all the directional signs. We have like 48 families in the neighborhood participate, advertise for it, and then afterwards we invite everybody to a big barbecue that we put on afterwards at the local park. And
We're having
yeah.
elk this year, y'all.
Yeah. Might sneak that in there.
That's right. Cool, man. ROI's been pretty good on that. Help the community and
Yeah.
build some rapport. Got some deals
100%.
out
I mean,
of it.
every single year we can attribute at least one sale to the garage sale barbecue because it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, my advice, long story short, is just keep on trucking.
Yeah,
The
hear those
results
no's
will
and
come.
figure out why you're getting the no.
Yeah.
Figure out if it's, timing's not right or if it's something you're doing. And the quicker you figure that out, better
Yeah.
you're going to be.
Exactly.
Fair. What do you think's going to happen with the market? You've been in the market for a little bit.
Yeah.
You own a couple houses.
Get this question every single day, almost.
I know you do, but at least you're talking to someone who knows at least what they're talking about, kind of.
Yeah.
Disclaimer back. What do you think's going to happen, man?
Well,
Where are we going?
I see our market right now. It's all based kind of ebbing and flowing with interest rates, is what I've noticed. For a while there, we had the pent up demand, affordability, and the investors that were sidelined for so long in the market. Now I think with affordability and jobs, and finally people are getting jobs and saving up money, and parents coming in and helping. That's what's driving our market. So as long as interest rates stay what they're staying, I think we're gonna see just a steady. I wouldn't call it increase, but not a decrease. I think we're gonna see like 3 to 5% just annually for the next few years. I would think, because the other side I like looking at is rents, and we do a little bit of property management. And every time we have something come up vacant, man, it sucks, but it's a great thing. But I feel bad for the people trying to get in the properties. But we have 5 solid applications with everybody over 700 FICOs, money in the bank, good jobs, looking to rent. So rents is what's coming on tremendously right now. So we're kind of pushing our investor buyer that maybe owns one house, can take a second mortgage for a down payment out at 4.5% and putting it down into something that's breaking even on an investment standpoint is kind of where we're putting a lot
Especially
of our
if it's
marketing in.
appreciating at 3 to 5 a year.
Yeah,
It's better than the bank.
we get a lot of people who are like, oh man, but it's not making any money, you're breaking even. But it's like, no, it's breaking. Yeah, you want it to break even, but you're forgetting somebody else is paying off your principal balance every month. You're not taking that into consideration. Yeah, you're not cash flowing,
Right.
but hey, how much is your money? Your money's making you in the bank at 0.25%. Whereas you buy a house, 20, yeah, it's 20% down, but you take that 50 or 100,000 and basically you're just switching from a savings account that's at Chase or whatever and putting it into real property, real estate. So at any time, hopefully you'll be able to sell and at least recoup that, but take advantage of, the tax break and somebody else paying off your mortgage.
Yeah. So those of you guys are investing, he's saying that rents are going up along with obviously the 3 to 5% appreciation. So if you can afford to buy and hold, buy it hit him up. He's gonna rent it out for you.
Yeah,
Make
rent it
sure
out
you
for
get
you.
some good tenants in there, and then he'll turn around and sell it for you. Make sure you make some good money.
Yeah. And I think with the lack of new construction too. I mean,
Yeah.
because everybody says, "Oh, how can prices go up anymore?" It's like, man, the demand's there. So I'm kind of afraid to say we're gonna see everybody waiting for the market to go back down. I think we might see it soften up a bit, but
Don't hold your
that's
breath.
all it's gonna do is soften up. The demand's gonna be there, I think. So
Yeah. So if you find a good deal, buy it. Don't wait.
yeah, I mean, think about it long term.
Yeah, don't wait. What are you gonna do? Well, obviously we kind of went over your game plan. You got a really good situation going
Yeah.
with your retail side. Mm-hmm. Do you want to stay in SoCal? I know you like getting out there and hunting.
Yeah.
You like jujitsu. Do you see yourself staying here in LA and retailing real estate?
Yeah, I mean, I kick that idea around all the time because of my lifestyle. And actually, jujitsu has kind of pulled me to wanting to stay in California more because it is kind of the mecca of jujitsu.
Right, definite hub.
But with the benefits that real estate have with time off and the potential for earnings, it can afford you hunting really is only for 2 or 3 months out of the year. So it can afford you the time off and the ability to pay to just travel to do that. So I think I see myself, staying in SoCal, and my wife's job's in SoCal.
What does your wife do?
She is actually a principal for a
Cool.
school. Yeah, she's
Public school?
Yeah, it's Cerritos Elementary. It's in the Savannah School District in
Nice.
Anaheim. Yeah, she was a teacher for 6 or 7 years, and then got her admin credential, and then did the administrative thing for a couple of years. And a spot opened up in the district, and she's kind of like is helping the district out, filling in. But I think she would like to keep on
Slip
doing
in
what
there
she's
and-
doing. Yeah,
Turn the interim into permanent?
yeah, I think so.
Cool.
So
Cool. So staying in, hey, I really like that actually. Hunting is 2 to 3 months out of the year.
yeah,
But I tell you what, man, it might just be me, but I feel like summer just keeps getting longer and longer and
Yeah,
longer
it
here.
does,
though.
dude.
And I like the fall, so that's
do
the only
too.
thing kind of taking me slightly out of LA, maybe to a little bit higher elevation.
yeah.
But yeah, man, I had a great time talking to you. Why don't you take a second, do some self promo.
Self promo.
Tell people where they can follow you. Obviously on Instagram, we went over it, but tell them now. They know what you're good at. Tell them how to reach you.
Yeah, all of our resale is basically out of North Orange County, out of the Cypress, West Garden Grove, East Long Beach, Rossmore, Seal Beach area. So if you have any people move into that area, feel free to send me an email, my last name Schnitzer, SCHNITZER @gmail, or our direct line 714-763-2111. Yeah, love referrals. You can follow me on Instagram, realtor_ninja.
Lots of great content on there. Definitely worth a follow. So check him out. He's always showing new listings, new projects, jiu-jitsu. One of my favorite feeds. You'll constantly see me liking and commenting on his shit. So I would recommend.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, dude, it's a good follow.
But yeah,
Website? Do you have a website?
Yeah, www.garyandjason.com.
Good one.
Yeah,
Good handle, dude. Good job.
pretty easy.
Cool. Well, like I said, we really appreciate you having on the show. I know that my listeners got a bunch of good information from you. If you guys want to get the information to contact him, it's going to be in the show notes. If you want to send us an email, you know how to do that. It's info@millionwayspodcast.com. That's any questions, comments, concerns, request to be a guest.
Referrals.
Referrals. If you got a house you want to sell, I got cash and I'm buying, you can send it there. If you really like the show, subscribe. Give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. It really helps get the content out there and help other people who are interested in real estate find us. On that note, we are wrapping up. And you guys take it easy. So I really enjoyed sitting down and talking to Jason and really getting to know him a little bit more. We had trained together previously, but that was pretty much the deepest I had dug as far as getting to know him. And I'm really glad that I did because he seems like a really entertaining guy and somebody that I'm probably going to be hanging out with and doing deals with in the future. On to our brand new feature. This is the Realtor of the Week. This week's first ever Realtor of the Week is a realtor out of South Orange County named Kenny Eggman. He's with Sotheby's Laguna Beach. He won this week's top spot for Realtor of the Week because the dude has, without a doubt, the best sunset shots, at least on my followers list. Not to mention his team just locked up a listing and is representing LA architect Stephen Canner and his nearly decade-long project On the Sand in South Orange County. Really awesome. You ought to check that out. Probably going to be one of the published in a lot of the magazines. So yeah, props to him. And that's why he took our first Realtor of the Week top spot. Check out his Instagram and see for yourself. At Kenny Eggman. That's Kenny Eggman. Double N at the end. Next up, we've got the maiden voyage of the title tip with our host, Jerry. Jerry, what do you got for us on this first ever Title Talk?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Title Talk Tuesday. I am your host. My name is Jerry Wu, your title insurance specialist here at First American Title. Now, being that this is our first episode, I'm here to talk to you and explain to you what title insurance is. If you're a homeowner or if you're a property owner for that matter, whether you know it or not, you have title insurance. In fact, here in Southern California, nearly all real estate transaction involves not just an escrow company, but a title company. But generally, we're a little bit more behind the scenes. But like I said, if you own a property, you have title insurance. Now, hopefully my goal today by the end of this segment is you'll have a little bit of a better understanding of what is it that we do and what exactly title insurance is and what are you paying for when you sell or purchase a property in terms of the title fees. So imagine this. Imagine if you purchased a home and 6 months later, you get a knock on your door. This man says, or this woman says, hey, I actually was half interest or had half interest in this property, and my brother sold it to you, but I never agreed to sell. That would be an issue, wouldn't it? So, or imagine if you received a letter from a lender one day that said, we were the lender for the previous owner of the home. Well, the home got sold to you, and we never got our money. We never got paid. And now since you're the homeowner, well, you got to pay up. Also, that's a big issue. Not really fair, right? Or what if you built a fountain in your backyard in this new home that you purchased, and you always wanted to have a fountain in your backyard, and you put this fountain back there, and next thing you know, you got a knock on the door and some utility company saying, hey, you need to tear down that fountain because we actually have an easement. We have a right, a permission to use that back segment or back section of your backyard, and you have a fountain there. So you gotta tear it down. Those are all potential issues that can happen. Or worse yet, what if the person that sold you the home wasn't the person that actually owned the home? What if there was an instance of fraud or forgery? So all those things can come back and threaten the ownership of your home. So in essence, title insurance, we make sure that the previous owner's debt, liens, and other claims of ownership that may have been instituted, prior to you purchasing the home, those are all clear so that you have what we call in the industry clear and marketable title. Now, how is title insurance a little bit different than the rest of other insurance that you might be familiar with? Let's say car insurance. We all have auto insurance, right? So most insurance, the way it works is that very little work is done up front. And then the insured generally pays a premium. Maybe it's a monthly premium, an annual or biannual premium, until something happens. When you get into that car accident, then all the investigation starts. Everybody starts figuring out what's going on and so forth. And in fact, most insurance work that way. While title insurance is one of the few insurance, or one of the only insurance where it kind of works a little bit backwards. All of the work is done up front. We do all the searching of everything that's recorded on title. We do an extensive run of the title chain of that property, and then we produce what's called a preliminary title report that we give to escrow. After all that work is done, there is a one-time payment for this owner's policy. We call an owner's title insurance policy. One-time payment, and it is good for as long as that owner owns the home. And that's it. So that's the main difference between title insurance and a lot of the other insurance policies that maybe you're familiar with. Now, in almost every single real estate transaction, you're going to see two title insurance policies. Okay, two title insurance policies. We're going to call them the owner's policy and the loan policy. Now, let's assume for a second that this transaction I'm using as an example is just like any other one where there is a sale and the buyer is getting a loan. And let's say that that buyer is getting a loan from ABC Lending Company. Okay, so in this scenario, where there is a seller, there is a buyer, and the buyer is taking out a loan from the ABC Title Company, there will always be, ABC Lending Company, I'm sorry, there will always be two title policies issued. One is called the owner's policy, the other is the loan policy. The owner's policy is the one that is going to insure the buyer of the property. Okay, so again, let me say that again. The owner's policy is going to be the one that's going to insure the buyer of the property. This is the one that I said earlier where a one-time fee is paid up front and it will cover that owner for as long as he or she owns that home. Okay. The other one is the loan policy. This one is to insure ABC Lending Company. This one is to insure the lender. Okay. Now, here in Southern California, we have the way we do business. There's different customary ways of doing business. Nothing is set in stone. Everything is negotiable. But just as a reference point, generally speaking, here in Southern California, the seller of a property pays for the owner's policy, pays for the buyer's owner's policy. So even though this policy is to insure the buyer, generally speaking, the seller is the one paying for it. Again, it's negotiable. But it's just customary to do it this way. Now, it is then the buyer's responsibility to pay for the lender title insurance policy for ABC Lending Company in this particular scenario. Okay? Now, kind of backtracking a little bit, that owner's policy, like I said, is good for as long as that owner owns a home. However, that loan policy for the lender is only good for the term of that loan. So, if an owner refinances, what's he essentially doing? He's paying off one loan and getting another loan. Therefore, every single time you refinance, every single time you take out a loan, you're going to need a new lender policy for that lender. Okay? Now, expect to see an owner's policy in the range of $1,000 plus. Okay, and the lender's policy is going to be less than that. They both are usually issued concurrently, meaning they're issued at the close of escrow at the same time from the same title company. You can't have one First American issuing the owner's policy and ABC Title issuing the lender's policy. They're usually both issued by the same title company. Okay, so what are some of the more common title claims that we see? You're going to see perhaps liens that should have been paid off that were not paid off. You might see some closing errors. Maybe there were some escrow and closing errors, a typo made here and there. Instead of 1245, they put 1254, for example, for the street number or for a legal description. You might see some forgery issues. Those are really actually big issues. Now, keep in mind, 75 to 85% of claims, title claims at least, they're made within the first 6 years of the life of the policy. So that first 6 years is usually the most crucial time, at least in our industry, where we see most title insurance claims come up. So that is about the basics of what title insurance is. So hopefully this segment gave you a little bit better understanding of what is it that at least we do, what is it that you're paying for. And of course, if you have any questions, I'm here. My name is Jerry Wu, and you can visit my website, www.jerrywootitle.com. Again, that website is www.jerrywootitle.com. We have a lot of great resources on there, from buyer's guides to seller's guides. You're going to find blank forms for grant deeds, for power of attorneys, for quitclaim deeds, for deeds of trust. And we even have multilingual support. So we have buyer guides and seller's guides in multiple different languages, in Chinese, Spanish, English, and a few other different popular languages. So hopefully this segment was informative, it was helpful, and somewhat entertaining. And check back next time for Title Talk Tuesday. Have a great day.
Some solid information there from our co-host Jerry. Every week he's going to be bringing you a 5 to 10 minute segment called the Title Talk, where he helps give you guys and me great title information that helps keep us safe while we're out there operating in the field. As you know, we're very serious here about delivering content you listeners will find useful and entertaining. We can't bring you guys that content without feedback. So again, we're going to ask you guys to leave us feedback wherever you're listening, positive or negative. Just let us hear it so we can make the adjustments and continue to bring better and better content you guys will be able to use in your day-to-day lives. Whether that's on the platform you're listening, email, social media, whatever is most convenient for you, we'll meet you there. Just let us know what you want to hear, and we're going to make it happen. Always remember, our website is the major content hub, updated weekly with a ton of fresh new audio and video content. It's the best place to find new episodes and also episode segments on their own. Video and also exclusive subscription-only interviews and content will be posted there as well. That's the best place to find transcripts and blog posts and also guest information. With that being said, that concludes our first episode of our relaunch. I hope you guys appreciate that we went back to the drawing board with the intent to bring you better content and deliver something that you can find useful and that truly separates us from the rest of the field out there in the real estate shows online. You guys take care, tuck in your kids, kiss your parents. Till next week, have a good one.